Well, have I found the best Springer in the world ever? Review of the HW 97KT coming up. I think it's pretty good. Welcome YouTubers, it's Steve aka Catanonia here, and in this channel we do lots of air rifle reviews, which this is going to be one, and we also do technology reviews. So you start finding you're liking these videos, hit the thumbs up, subscribe and watch out for more videos. Well, as the intro said, I've actually got a Springer. Now a lot of you guys have said to me, please Steve, get more Springers in. I've done, I think, one Springer review on this channel, and I have missed a massive manufacturer out of all of my videos, and I'm trying to address that, and that's Weihrauch, because you know, they're one of the most popular rifles out there, and yes, they do PCPs, but they also do some quality Springers, and this is the first time that I've actually managed to get hold of one, and I've got here the Weihrauch, so it's the HW 97KT. And I've got it in 177 here. So it stands for basically, the K I think stands for carbine, even though it's a fairly longish rifle. And the T stands for thumb hole because it's a thumb hole stock. Now you can get these rifles in many different varieties, and they all came back from the 1980s when Weihrauch, and as you know, Weihrauch are a well-known company, been going for ages, but they had what was called the HW77, and they were fantastic rifles, and a lot of people loved them for field target. And then basically the 97 has come out of that with a lot of the features and obviously enhancements. Now you can get these, the KT rifle, the HW97, in different varieties. You can get it in just the K, which basically is just a straight stock, and you can get it with the KT, which is a thumb hole, and then you can get the variants in tactical, and I think they do a tactical stainless as well, but I'll leave some pictures around where you can see them. Now of course there's loads and loads of different Weihrauchs out there, and this is just one of them, being the 97, and this is a Springer, and it is an underlever Springer, but we'll go through that in a bit. But yeah, I thought let's get into some of the Weihrauchs and see how we get on. So let's just do our usual and just walk through the rifle itself. So what we got is a beautiful beach stock, and this is a fully ambidextrous beach stock. You can use this left or right-handed, no changes whatsoever. It's actually very nice quality stock on that, and as usual I'll leave some B-roll footage so you can see the rifle in closer detail. But at the back end here we have an adjustable butt piece, and you can lift this with the Allen key, and you can lift this butt piece up and down, and we'll just bring it to the other camera so you can see that, and you can just lift that up and down, quite nice. All comes with it as well. Then you've got the thumb hole stock, and what I really do like about this rifle, and you don't notice it until you actually try it the first time, is this little groove here. It's just beautiful to slide your finger in. It just really gives you a nice feel with this rifle. So let's move across, and then what we've got is we've got a full metal trigger guard on here, and we have a full adjustable two-stage trigger. And this bit you can see hanging down is basically how you adjust your trigger in here. Nice, really nice trigger in here. And then moving across, we've got some nice stippling effect. So we've got stippling effect under the rifle here, which gives for a good grip. There's stippling around the actual, around the pistol grip itself. Really nice. And then if we move across, what we've got here is we've got the loading port, and then we have the barrel coming across here. And it has a built-in silencer built into it here, and there is no thread attachments or anything on the end to put any additional silencers on it. And underneath, because it's a lever type air rifle, instead of breaking the barrel, what you actually do is the lever on it at the bottom. So we'll just show this work. There's a little button at the top here, you press, and then the lever comes down, and as you pull that down you'll see the fill port. We just bring it in, you can see the fill port starting to aim. Now I'm not going to cock this because obviously I do not want to dry fire this rifle, but basically you pull it down, you hold it, you know, proper safety with Springers, hold it, you then feed your pellet in there, you bring it back up, safety catch off, and then you take your shot. Very nice, and it comes in a nice little click with that little button on there, so it's nice and secure and does not rattle around. And that's one of the nice things I like about this. With springers, with brake barrels, you know, you do wonder whether or not you're losing zero or whether or not you're actually damaging the barrel over time. Under lever, obviously, there's no chance of that happening. And then if we move around, there's not really that much more left to go about it. If we then take a look across here, we have scope rails. So these are your standard scope rails up the top here, 11 mils. So you can put pretty much any rifle scope you want on. The one thing that you do have to be careful of is obviously that you're not overgoing the actual fill port where you actually load your actual pellet into there. So your rifle scope can go across there. But the nice thing, because it's not brake barrel, that does make things a lot easier. But your standard scope rails up the top, and then we just zoom in a little bit here, we have a safety catch here. And the safety catch on this is automatic. So basically, every time you cock the rifle, the safety catch will go on. And you have to remember to take the safety catch off. And it catches you out quite a bit. But let's give you some further specs on this rifle itself. So it is actually a heavy rifle. It is very heavy. Without the scope on it, it's 4.3 kilograms, and that's quite a weight. And you know, my arms are struggling a little bit here. It is a proper, robust, heavy rifle. We got a beach stock, like we said, and then if we take a look, the overall length of this is just a shade over a metre, 1030 millimetres end to end, and we're looking at a 300mm barrel in here. And this is the standard Weihrauch barrels, very good, very accurate. So like I said, this is a fairly heavy rifle, and I'm actually resting my arm here while I'm doing this video, talking to you about it. It is extremely well made though. You're looking at the quality in it, the quality of the stock, the quality of the bluing on here, and just the general mechanics of it. This thing is very well, as they would say, German engineering. It is extremely well put together, and quite a handsome looking rifle as well. Now, price wise with these, you know, they're not cheap. You know, you can pick springers up for a couple of £100 or £300 for a decent one. You're looking at, with one of these and this variant here, you're looking around the £400 or dollar mark. So it is not a cheap air rifle, but apparently they're quite good, and apparently Weihrauch have such a good reputation that I'm actually very excited to have a play with this. So as usual, what we'll do is we'll go outside and we'll have a look, and we'll have a shoot with it and see how well it gets on compared to other rifles. And I am going to actually compare it maybe to PCPs as well, because at the end of the day, if you're spending this sort of price on a rifle, you do expect it to be pretty damn good. So we'll see how we get on with that. Alright, so we're going to take the HW97 out for a quick go, and we're going to do some Diablo air arms, 177 pellets. We're going to give 10 shots of that, and then we're going to do some AccuPels as well. So we'll see how we go. Okay, so now we're going to go for the AccuPels, again 177, and see how we get on with these.
super impressed with that.
So, how did we get on? Well, we used 2 sets of pellets, and now I'm using this in the 177 variety. Now you can get it, as I said before, you can get it in the 177, 0.2, 0.22 and 0.25, but I've got the 177, and I started off with some of the Diablo, AA Diablo fields, and as we can see in the video, I was quite impressed with that. That's not too bad at all. That is better than my other springer that I've tried and other springers that I've borrowed before but not done any videos on. I was super impressed with that. It was 25 meters. But then I stuck the AccuPels in it, and bearing in mind, you know, I don't generally shoot springers and I'm not a brilliant shot. I was taking my time with it. I was using the artillery hold, but using bean bags with it to allow the rifle to move and taking my time, and the trigger was really nice, but I was amazed. I would be happy with that with a PCP. That is 10 shots sat in there. That is just fantastic. You know, you can get a 1p piece around that, no problems. Maybe even a 5p piece around that. So, most definitely, the most accurate rifle that I've ever played with in terms of springers. Yeah, super impressed with it. As usual, let's go through the pros and the cons. Now, underneath the camera, I've actually got quite a list, and this is probably one of the biggest lists that I've put together with regards to pros and cons about a rifle, because I really did like this a lot. But let's start off with it. It's a Springer, yes. So obviously you're not having to have all of those problems with PCP, with air tanks, and getting your air tank filled up and all of that side of things. So pretty much you've got free unlimited air with this. But the one thing I do like about it is it's not a break barrel Springer. So you don't get so much of the problems of trying to put a scope on and making sure that you got barrel clearance. And also you're not constantly moving that barrel and tapping that barrel to break it open. And I don't know about you, and I know they manufacture barrels very well, but over 2 to 3 years of constantly knocking a barrel, you know, what's it doing to your zero? It's just one of those things. Whereas with this, with the underlever, you're not touching that barrel at all, and it is extremely good at that. And you can tell this thing is stupidly accurate for a Springer. I like the fact that it's got a nice little button in here and nothing rattles about with it at all. It's just nice and easy to do that. I also love the fill port on here. It's nice and big. Even when you've got gloves on, you can get your fingers in there, you can push home that pellet, and that's why field target people love these rifles. Absolutely love them. I've already mentioned the accuracy. Like I said, the accuracy is fantastic. You know, it is on a par with PCPs, but for the price you'd expect that as well. You really would. The adjustable backstock on here, really nice. It's a shame it's not a 3D one where it can tilt as well, but yeah, that's really nice, and of course that can be replaced as well if you want. The fact that it's ambidextrous as well, so you don't need to, you know, you left-handers, you want to lend it to a friend who's a left-hander, not a problem. It works both ways. It is absolutely perfect in that. The smooth action, and again, obviously I can't do this indoors, but the smooth action of just taking the rifle and then just pulling it down, everything is so smooth. It's just got like nice little clicks in the right place. It makes that nice smooth sound, and you clip it together. It fills you with confidence that this rifle is actually behaving itself. And when everything's nice and smooth like that, then you know that you just get the confidence that this rifle is going to be accurate as well. The built-in silencer is nice on it as well. A lot of rifles nowadays come with a built-in silencer. I'm not sure, it doesn't look like you can take this off properly. I might be wrong, and I'm sure some Weihrauch owners out there will tell me if I'm wrong. But it does a good job, but it has got a fair amount of crack on it. And the recoil with the rifle is not too bad. It does give you a little bit of a kick, and you most certainly do need to make sure that you're using artillery hold with this rifle when you're shooting it. I.e., if you're not sure about artillery hold, like I said, watch some of the videos. I'll put a link up here. But it's just nice, and you've got to let the action work. And a lot of people will start using the HW97 tuning kits with different springs in here, which you can get, and I'm sure if you do a search on the YouTube, you'll find some videos on that, and that can help with the recoil. But the recoil is not a massive problem. It's actually quite manageable and quite smooth. And the trigger is quite sublime. Straight out the factory, the trigger is a lovely trigger. You can just feel the first stage, and then the second stage is a nice defined crisp, nothing scary, nothing that takes you by surprise. You just know it's there and it works beautifully on that. And like I said, we've talked about the tuning kits, and there's so much support for these, and these rifles are extremely common. You'll see these rifles all over the place, certainly in the second-hand market. So you could pick yourself up a real good bargain with one of these. But there are some bad points. As I always say in my videos, I give you the good and the bad points. I'm not sponsored at all. This is a rifle, and thank you very much to Graham, and check the video out up there where you see when I went and visited him. He's lent me this rifle for me to do a proper honest review on it. So there are some bad points that I don't like about it. Number one, it's damn heavy. It is very heavy, and my arm is aching here holding on to this thing. It's great, and I can see why everybody loves it for field target work, because of pretty much you're not lugging this thing around. You got yourself set up nicely. Yeah, but it is damn heavy. I certainly would not want to be walking around a field with this. If I did, I'd certainly want a sling on it, and there's no sling attachments on here by default at all. So you know, you'd have to put them on yourself. But it's not designed for that. There are plenty of other Weihrauchs out there that you can use for that sort of work. This is really designed, you know, it's target, it's garden target, it's range work. But if you want to use it hunting, I most certainly recommend that you're static and you're in the ambush mode with this, because you do not want to be lugging this thing around the field all of the time. The auto safety, I don't know, I can see why it's there. But I hate it, I hate it. The amount of times I was going to take a shot, steadied myself, and yes, I got to switch the safety off. You can switch it on and off as many times as you want, but it auto switches on as soon as you cock the rifle. And I believe that's a standard thing for Weihrauch. You know, personally, I don't like that. That's really annoying on there, but I can see why it's there. It's a minor point. It's heavy. You know, I'm going to say it again, it's heavy. That's the biggest problem with it. And the price. Realistically, the price on it, you're pushing now PCP territory with this rifle. £400 upwards, depending on where you get it from, your local taxes, etc. in the country that you're in. It is actually quite expensive for a Springer, but at the end of the day, it's like buying a Ferrari or a sports car. You pay the money, you get the performance. You certainly do with this rifle. I think, yeah, if I was going to go out and buy another Springer, which they're not really my cup of tea, I like PCPs, but if I was going to buy a Springer, this would certainly be extremely close to the top of the list to have a look at, to go and get one of these, because of, you know, it is just beautifully made. It's German, it's Weihrauch, it's been around for years, the company, they know what they're doing. German engineering in here, solidly built and stupidly accurate for a Springer, and I think that's why everybody just loves them. They just love them really for all of that stuff in the field target work. So if you're after a really good Springer and you've got the cash and the dough and you want to get the best of the best, then in my personal opinion, now I've not tried many Springers, but this just outclasses them all in the ones that I've tried, and public opinion generally says that the Weihrauchs, and especially the 97, is probably one of the best Springers to go. So would I recommend it to a beginner? If you're doing static work in the garden and your range work and you've got the money, most definitely get one of these. If you can pick one up cheap, go for it. Check out the usual stuff, check out the power of them. You know, they're Springers, a lot of people might dry fire the Springers, so check the power outputs. There have been quite a few reports of some people breaking springs in these, but that sort of thing happens. Check the power output, check for the damage on it, check for the stock. You know, if you're looking for one as a beginner, but yeah, I'd certainly recommend going for one of these bad boys. Yeah, they're pretty damn good. So anyway, hopefully you like that video. Hopefully I can get hold of some more Weihrauchs, as I'm totally missed Weihrauchs at the moment. Hopefully I'd love to get hold of maybe one of the other, with the Weihrauch PCPs, or some of the other Springers as well. So if you've got anything like that and you fancy lending it to the channel, check the videos, like I said, I've left the links behind. And yeah, think about considering getting in contact with me. But yeah, I've been Catanonia, and hopefully you like this video. Please like, share, smash, consider being a Patreon, subscribe if you've not already, and keep an eye out for other videos that I've got coming up soon.